Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Down Home Bites with Darlene. If you saw one of my earlier videos, you know that I'm going to a family reunion tomorrow. So I'm actually making a pan of quick lasagna and the cake that I made earlier, the rave review cake, and I'm going to make some focaccia bread. So I know I've done a video on the lasagna before, so I'm going to do one on the focaccia bread. Now, you would think, as long as I have been cooking, that yeast would not frighten me. It scares me to death. So I finally have conquered that fear and have started making things with yeast, and I thoroughly enjoy it. You know, you always, until you kind of get used to what um, your bread or whatever it is that you're making, after you've done it a time or two, you know what it feels like and you know what it's supposed to look like. So sometimes it just takes practice, but we're going to give it a whirl. This is to me, one of the easiest breads to make. And it's so good, especially with like Italian food, or if you just want a really nice Caesar salad or something, you can eat it with that. It's just good. So I'm going to switch the camera around so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and we will get us some bread going. So stay tuned. Okay, your first measurement, I try to usually before, especially before I start making bread, is to have everything out and measured. It just makes it a lot easier. So you're actually going to have 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, but you're not going to use it all in the bread. So right now, what we're going to do, and I'm using my stand mixer with the dough hook. So you're going to put a cup of the flour. So I've just got the 3.5 cups there. And like with most things in baking, you kind of want to get as precise as you can on the measurement. Nothing quite heaping, if you want to say. Okay. And now you're going to have 2 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of sugar, white sugar. This is a half teaspoon size, so we'll have to use 2 of these, of course. So there's 1 and 2. Okay. And then you want a teaspoon of salt. So let me get that over here out of my salt box. Forgot to bring it over here. And your yeast. So it says a tablespoon of active dry yeast. If you use a jar, you keep a jar on hand and you use out of that, then you would use a tablespoon. I use the little packets. This is a fast rising instant yeast. So with it, you just use the whole packet of it. So we'll put this little monster in here that I was so scared of for so long. Okay. Now, we're just going to put this down for a second, and we're just going to let it kind of just mix it just a little bit, on slow. I think this even has, a stir. You just want it mixed in there. Okay. So now, the next thing we're going to do is you need to get a saucepan. You put 1 cup of water. Well, I lost my instruction. Here it is. Oh, and 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use vegetable oil or canola oil. I use canola. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of that. Okay. And we're going to heat this on the stove. Now, you don't want it to be boiling, usually, because then it's going to kill your yeast. So what I usually look for is when it starts kind of just getting those little tiny bubbles around the edge, then that's usually warm. So I'm gonna stick this on the stove and get it warmed up, and we'll be right back. Okay, the water and the oil is warm. So we're going to pour it into our mixing bowl. Then we're going to put this on a low speed just until everything is moistened up. Okay. Now I've got to add the egg. Okay, so before I go any further, what I'm going to do is get a spatula somewhere. I'm glad I have patient audiences, because I think I'm all prepared and then I'm like, oh no, I forgot this. Anyway, take your spatula and just kind of get the sides cleaned out so it makes sure it gets everything in there. Okay, so now we are going to beat this for 2 minutes on medium. 2 minutes have passed. I'm going to put it down on stir. And now what we're going to do is, let me adjust my recipe here so I can see. There we go. We're going to add 1 3/4 cups of more flour while this is going. So this is a 1/4 of a cup measure. So there's the 4. And then I need a cup. Bake for any amount of time, you'll do that. Sometime or another, you will do that. Okay, so now we're going to turn the speed up, and it's going to mix until you start seeing the dough pull away from the sides. Stop it just a minute, because I think I need to scrape the sides down some. One thing too to always remember is, especially if you're making anything with yeast, your mixing bowl needs to be clean and dry. Okay, since I've got it pulled away, let's see how it does. Okay, yeah, that's better. Off of our stand. The bread's going to be, it will be sticky. Okay, so now we're going to take 3/4 more of that flour, and we're going to put it on your baking board. So I just sprinkle it out. You can do that. 1, 2, 2, and 3. Let me turn the camera a little bit here where you can see this. I hope you can see it anyway. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to take the dough out of the mixer. Go ahead and spread this out like this. I highly advise also this, get you a cutting board that is strictly for you to make bread. I don't use this one for anything else. You are not supposed to wash these things with detergent. You're just supposed to use hot water and get them off. So I only use this to make my breads because I don't want anything else to flavor it, you know, or anything. So let's see here. This dough's extra sticky today. Sometimes the weather can affect it also, so don't be surprised. Sometimes it's something, if it doesn't do right, it's probably got to do with the weather. Okay, so here's my dough. I just usually put it like in a little ball, like that, put it down. Okay, and now we're going to try to knead in this flour. Everybody has their own technique. I just usually do this. Just bring the flour in. Yeah, it's good exercise. You're not going to knead in every bit of this flour. You just are not going to need it for it. But it gives you that amount so that you've got plenty to roll everything in. And like I said, once you've made things a few times, you understand what the dough's supposed to feel like, how you're handling it. If it is crumbling everywhere, it's probably not right yet. But there's nothing, to me, there's nothing like a homemade bread. I have a dinner roll recipe that is absolutely scrumptious and easy to make, so easy. Okay, I think we've got that kneaded in. Now, what we have to do is we've got to cover this ball of dough with a bowl and let it set for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to take my glass bowl, put it right there, set my timer for 5 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, so we're going to take the bowl off. And you want to have a baking sheet. I'm using a jelly roll one because it is thicker. And so, you know how sometimes, especially when you're baking, if your cookie sheet is too flimsy, it'll like pop up. These won't do that. Mine looks horrible, but they work great. So I sprayed it with cooking spray. So you're gonna put your ball right there. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it out. And I usually do mine kind of a rectangle thing. But you can do it in a circle or whatever you wanna do. You can use rolling pin. I have this that I got from, I think I got this from Peppered Shell. So, or somebody gave it to me, I can't remember. Anyway, you just stretch your dough till it's about probably, I don't know, like a 12-inch circle or rectangle. I don't want it real thick, so switch this around here like this. Get this to meet up with me right there. Here we go. Now, you can kind of control it a little bit more. You see what's going on here? Now you don't want it paper thin, of course. Because this will rise when it gets in the oven. Okay, so now we've got that done. So the next thing we have to do is we have to take plastic wrap, enough that's going to cover this pan, and you have to spray it with cooking spray. So, kind of get it measured out a little bit there, like that. Sorry, I don't have backs to you a lot. And you just spray it. Reason for this spraying it is so it doesn't like stick so much to the bread. Okay. You're gonna put this, of course, the oil side down. Alright. So you bring it up like that so it's covered. Okay. And next thing you want to do is cover it with a cloth. Now what I did was I bought a towel, and I put it in a plastic Ziploc bag. This is the only thing I use this towel for, is to do covering when I'm making breads. That way it doesn't get mixed in with your other laundry and something sticks to it. When you're done with it, you just fold it and put it back in your thing. Okay, now this is going to be covered for, I think it is 30 minutes in a warm place. So you preheat your oven to 400. So I'm going to set mine on top of the stove so that it gets that heat, warm place. So in 30 minutes, we'll be back to get the rest of this going. And I've lost my control again. How do I do that, people? Here, I'll just reach up here. We're ready for the next step. So it is done. Well, as far as like sitting for the 30 minutes it's supposed to. You take your cloth off and you take plastic wrap off. And as you see, it doesn't like rise a lot. It's just letting that dough, you know, kind of mill in with each other. You can use whatever flavors you want. Today I'm going to make a garlic Parmesan. But I've made different ones before. I've made some where you get roasted tomatoes and roasted bell peppers. And I actually made it in like a flower design. And at that time I did sprinkle a little bit of rosemary and thyme, but not a lot. But it ended up being really pretty and it was good. But this one is my favorite. So what you want to do now is get 3 tablespoons of olive oil. But before we do that, get you something with like a rubber spatula, spoon, whatever, with a little tip on it. You're going to put holes in it. Just sporadic. Maybe about, I don't know, 2 inches apart from each other. Just going to let air get in. Because your bread is, when you look at it on the inside, it has more air in it, more holes in it. So we got that done. So now, you want to take your 3 tablespoons of oil with olive oil. And you want to just kind of smear it over the top of it. You have to get your hands dirty here in a minute. Here's 3. All right. So just take your hand, just rub it all over the bread. And you can use whatever kind of olive oil you want. I usually just use the plain, but you can use the extra virgin or anything like that. Just get this all off of me now. To make the garlic, I just use garlic powder. don't measure, I just sprinkle it on there, you know. How much ever you like. If you like a lot, a lot. If you like a little, just a little. It all works. Okay. Now, I usually use the shredded Parmesan. You can use the grated. You could probably even use the shaved, but it might end up burning before it's ready. So I just usually use the shredded. It's just kind of on the safe side. I don't measure it either. You just put how much ever you want. This usually ends up making about, maybe about 15 pieces or so. That's a good bit. All right. And that's all there is to it. Now we're going to put it in our 400-degree oven, and you'll bake it from anywhere from 17 to 27 minutes. It's just according to how your oven is. And so when it gets done, we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, it is out of the oven. So what I'm going to do is take my little handy dandy pizza thing, slide it underneath there and put it on my cutting board. I'm going to put that where I can find it. Get rid of this for a second. Okay, now put it a little bit closer here. Now usually what I cut it with is just a pizza cutter. So, you cut it big, small pieces, whatever you want to do, whatever fits your fancy. I'll take a little corner piece here, let you look at it, so you can say, ooh, it's fine. See? Nothing better than homemade. So I'm going to finish cutting this up. Try to get us some dinner made. And then I'm going to take my haggard looking self. It'll heal me out for the rest of the day. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next time on Down Home Bites with Darlene. Thanks, guys.